One man was arrested as the Taoiseach was confronted by anti-water charge protesters in Dublin this afternoon. The group surrounded Enda Kenny's car as he tried to leave a newly opened hospital in Raheny.
Angry protesters make their voices heard as the Taoiseach departs an official engagement in Raheny in North Dublin. Up to 30 people surrounded his car, chanting against the introduction of water charges. Amid the confrontation, a 24-year-old man was arrested by Gardaí on public order offences and taken for questioning. The anti-austerity protesters had managed to get a few words with Enda Kenny as he left St Joseph's Hospital, where he had been opening a new day hospital, but were left unimpressed by the Taoiseach's response.
Oh, his usual blasé self. He does not give a damn. And he proves that every time, because he does not change anything, he doesn't come to the people. The people are hurting. Can he not see that?
He jumped into the car because he's afraid to talk to the people. If this was D4, he'd have no problem talking to the people out there. This is Edenmore. He won't talk to working class people. Enda Kenny doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent anyone here.
Protesters were angry after they said a man was injured by a mechanical digger as he tried to prevent Irish water contractors from installing water meters at Tonlegee Drive, a scene of previous standoffs. A Garda spokesperson said they were not aware of a complaint having been made and said nobody had been arrested there. A spokesperson for the Taoiseach declined to comment on this afternoon's protest.
Open today.
But you always have a way out. I've asked you originally, how did meters are going to cause cancer? And I apologise, cancer on the ground. But will you apologise for the offence of the Irish people? No, I
Regulation has revealed how much households will have to pay for their water. The new charge will be introduced from tomorrow, but everyone will have their charge capped for 9 months, regardless of whether they've had a water meter installed or not. The rate will be €176 for a household with one adult, plus around €102 for every extra adult living there. A family of 2 adults and 2 children will pay an annual water bill of around €278. Well, live now to our finance correspondent Brian O'Donovan, who's at the Energy Regulator's headquarters for us. Brian, you've been speaking to the regulator in the last hour.
That's right, Colette. Paul McGowan has been telling me that when you look at international examples, Ireland won't be the most expensive country in Europe for water, but it won't be the cheapest either. He is pointing out, however, that not every country has this free children's allowance that will kick in once the water charges start from tomorrow. Paul McGowan, the regulator, is urging everybody to fill in the forms that you've gotten in the post from Irish Water, because he says if you don't fill in the form and send it back, you'll end up paying more because you won't get the free allowances that you're entitled to. He says if everybody is overcharged during this period at the start, this 9-month lead-in period when everyone's on the same assessed charge, if anybody is overcharged, you will be entitled to a refund, and you will get that refund after 6 months. Now, the charges that are being announced today are only good up until the end of 2016, so I asked the regulator Paul McGowan if price rises are inevitable.
It's too early to say. To be honest, we have a lot of things that might change in the meantime. For example, Irish Water's charges and costs are based on costs, which we have scrutinised. We imposed a 14% reduction in their operating costs. We will be looking to impose even more stringent reductions on Irish Water's costs into the future. But as well as that, there's a lot of investment to be done. So it's too early to say, but we will begin looking at that next year. And again, we will be going through a full public consultation in relation to the charges that would apply from 2017 onwards.
Brian, any political reaction to all of this?
Lots of political reaction, Colette. First off, Fianna Fáil saying that this is a case of the public having to pay for the huge consultancy fees and set-up costs at Irish Water. Barry Cowan from Fianna Fáil is saying that the government's promised allowances are now lower and the average amount that they said people would have to pay is now higher. Sinn Féin says that it's not happy with the water charges either. They're saying bills are going to go up and up over the years, and that if it gets into government, it will reverse the water charges. But on his way into today's cabinet meeting, the Public Expenditure Minister Brendan Howlin describes the water charges as fair and equitable.
It seems to me that all the issues that were of concern to people have been addressed. The volume of water that will be free for children, which again is subject to review, and it will be based on actual usage over time. I think it's a good idea of the commissioners to cap for the first 9 months the actual charge, so that people can get used to being able to moderate their own bills over time.
Now, with all this reaction to water charges today, it's no harm to remind people what they'll actually pay. Just to give you some examples, a bath will cost you around 39 cents, flushing the toilet will cost you around 4 cents, using the washing machine 31 cents, and having a shower 19 cents.
This is the end now. This change is going to come today. All the sovereign people of this country are waking up, and they're seeing what's happening. Before, they were all sitting with their heads in the sand, but not anymore. You can look all around you. People are saying, no, enough is enough.
As far as the water charges are concerned, we already pay 1.2 billion in our taxes, and we're just not prepared to pay any more. Simple as.
With these water charges, we can't afford any more. Every penny that my daughter's son-in-law's earn now is going out on bills. We can't afford to live now, and it's just getting beyond now. They're letting the rich be rich and the poor get poorer. That's the way I see it.
Are you surprised to see such a big turnout?
No, I expected it and more, because everybody is against it. Nobody has a good word to say about the government now, in my opinion.
And how do you think this protest will change the situation?
Well, we're going to fight. We have to fight. If we don't fight, the government is not fighting for us. They're just letting us hang us out to dry. They don't seem to care about us.
I don't think this protest will be listened to at all by the government. But you can see there's large numbers here, so we'll see what the reaction is.
We believe that austerity has gone too far, and we believe that if we don't make a stand against this government and its austerity policies now, that this will be put onto our children and in time our children's children. So we're here to represent our generation and put our best foot forward for a future for the younger generation.
The governments have left a terrible legacy for the people of Ireland and the young ones growing up today, and I feel so frustrated, and I think people have had enough, and it's about time people come out onto the streets to protest, because it just can't go on.
Well, hopefully it will, yeah. I mean, the government's got to take notice of all this stuff, haven't they? They can't just ignore it. They've been ignoring it for long enough now.
I'm here to protest at the water charges that are being imposed on people that are hardly able to pay their mortgages, never mind pay the water charges.
Yes, I'll be paying the water charges. If I didn't fill in my form, I'll end up paying Irish Water more.
I will be paying. For lots of people, it's not, a case of us telling them what to do.
We're accepting now that the water utility exists. It's set out in legislation. What we're saying is very simply that water, like other basic services, has to be provided, has to be paid for, and that is appropriately borne by us collectively as a community and as society. We don't live in cloud cuckoo land. We live in the real world along with all of the communities and families and workers and individuals that we represent, and we know that things have to be paid for.